Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Today, we are going to travel to a country of great distances. It is a country where warm forests grow in the north, and great fields of ice shine in the south. It has some of the highest mountains in the world, but it also has wide flat plains where the sky seems to go on forever. It is the home of tango, mate, gauchos, football, and one of the largest waterfalls on Earth. This country is Argentina. Argentina is the second largest country in South America. It is long and narrow, and it stretches for thousands of kilometers from north to south. Because it is so long, Argentina has many different climates. In the north, the weather can be hot and wet. In the center, there are rich green plains. In the west, the Andes Mountains rise above the land, and in the far south, cold winds move across Patagonia. Argentina feels like several countries living inside one border. But how did this large and unusual nation begin? And how did it become the Argentina we know today? Let us go back in time and begin the story. Long before Argentina had cities, roads, or borders, many different groups of people lived on this land. In the north, some communities grew corn, potatoes, and other crops. In the central plains, people hunted animals and moved across the open land. In Patagonia, groups learned how to live in cold, windy places. They knew the rivers, the forests, the animals, and the changing seasons. One important group was the Guarani people. They lived in the northeast, near great rivers and thick forests. Their language is still spoken today in parts of South America. Another important group was the Mapuche people. They lived in areas of present-day Argentina and Chile. They were skilled farmers, horse riders, and traders. These early peoples had their own languages, stories, beliefs, and ways of life. Argentina did not begin with one culture. From the very start, it was a land of many cultures. In the early 16th century, Spanish explorers arrived in the region. They came across the Atlantic Ocean. They were searching for land, wealth, and new trade routes. One of the first things they noticed was a huge river. Today, we call it the Rio de la Plata. This name means River of Silver. The explorers believed there might be great silver riches somewhere beyond the river. They were not correct about the silver, but the name stayed. The Rio de la Plata is not a normal narrow river. It is very wide, near the Atlantic Ocean. The water becomes so wide that the other side is difficult to see. Today, the cities of Buenos Aires and Montevideo stand on opposite sides of this great water. But in the beginning, European settlement was not easy. The first Spanish settlement at Buenos Aires failed. There was not enough food. The settlers had problems with local groups, and many people left. Years later, the Spanish returned. In the year 1580, Buenos Aires was founded again. This time, the settlement survived. For many years, Buenos Aires was not the most important Spanish city in South America. Other cities were richer. They had mines, large churches, and strong connections to Spain. Buenos Aires was far away from the main centers of power. But the city had one great advantage. It had a port. Ships could enter through the Rio de la Plata. Goods could arrive from Europe, leather, food, and other products could leave for foreign markets. Slowly, Buenos Aires became more important. The people of the region also began to feel different from the people of Spain. They lived far from Europe. They understood the local land. They had their own customs, and many of them wanted to control their own future. In the early 19th century, Great political changes were moving across the world. The United States had become independent. The French Revolution had changed Europe, and Spain was facing serious problems at home. In Buenos Aires, many people began asking an important question: why should a king across the ocean control their lives? In May of 1810, local leaders removed the Spanish government in Buenos Aires. This event became known as the May Revolution. It was not yet full independence, but it was the beginning of a new road. 6 years later, on July 9th, 1816, Argentina officially declared its independence from Spain. However, saying that a country is free is easier than making it free. Spanish forces still controlled large areas of South America. Argentina needed soldiers, leaders, and a plan. One of the most important leaders was José de San Martín. San Martín was a military officer. He believed that independence in Argentina would never be safe while Spain controlled nearby countries. So he created a bold plan. He would lead an army across the Andes Mountains. Then he would help free Chile. After that, he would move north toward Peru. Crossing the Andes was extremely difficult. The mountains were high. The air was thin. The paths were narrow. The nights were very cold. The soldiers had to carry food, weapons, medicine, and equipment. They also had horses and other animals. Some men became sick. Some animals could not continue. But the army moved forward. In 1817, San Martín and his forces crossed the mountains. They surprised the Spanish army in Chile. They won an important victory. Later, San Martín continued to Peru. His campaign helped bring independence to several South American nations. Today, he is remembered as one of Argentina's greatest national heroes. After independence, Argentina did not immediately become peaceful and united. Different regions wanted different things. Some leaders wanted strong power in Buenos Aires. Others wanted more freedom for the provinces. There were arguments, political struggles, and periods of fighting. It took many years to build one united country. During this time, life continued across the wide central plains. These plains are called the Pampas. The Pampas have rich soil, long grass, and enormous open spaces. They became one of the most important parts of Argentina. Cattle lived on the plains. Horses could travel for great distances, and a special kind of horseman became famous. He was called the gaucho. The gauchos were skilled riders. They understood horses, cattle, weather, and the open land. They often spent long days far from towns. They carried simple tools. They cooked over fires. They slept under the stars. And they learned to survive with very little. Their clothes were practical. Many wore loose trousers, strong boots, a wide belt, and a scarf around the neck. A gaucho's knife was an important everyday tool. It could be used for food, leather work, and other jobs. The gaucho became a symbol of freedom and independence. He was sometimes poor. He did not own much, but the open land belonged to his way of life. Stories, songs, and poems made the gaucho an important figure in Argentine culture. Even today, gaucho traditions continue in country festivals, horse events, music, and food. During the late 19th century, Argentina changed very quickly. The government wanted more workers. It also wanted more people to live in the country. Millions of immigrants arrived from Europe. Many came from Italy and Spain. Others came from Germany, France, Britain, Eastern Europe, and many other places. They crossed the Atlantic in large ships. Some were escaping poverty. Some were looking for work. Some wanted land. And some simply wanted a new beginning. Many immigrants arrived in Buenos Aires. The city became crowded. loud, and full of different languages. Families lived close together. Italian words mixed with Spanish words. New foods appeared, new music appeared, and new ideas moved through the streets. This great meeting of cultures helped create modern Argentina. In the working neighborhoods near the port, a new kind of music and dance began to grow. It was called tango. Tango did not come from one person or one country. It grew from many influences. African rhythms were part of its story. European instruments and melodies were also important. Local songs added something new. Immigrants brought memories of homes they had left behind. The result was music that sounded proud, romantic, lonely, and strong. At first, tango was connected with poor neighborhoods. Wealthy people did not always respect it, but young Argentines carried tango to Europe. In Paris, people became excited about the dance. Suddenly, tango was fashionable. When it returned to Argentina with international success, high society accepted it too. Tango entered theaters, dance halls, restaurants, and homes. One of its most famous voices was Carlos Gardel. Gardel sang tango songs with warmth and emotion. His recordings made him famous across Latin America and beyond. Even today, his voice is closely connected with the golden age of tango. While Buenos Aires became a great modern city, the countryside continued to produce food for the world. The Pampas were perfect for farming. Argentina exported wheat, corn, leather, and beef. The country became wealthy. Beautiful buildings appeared in Buenos Aires. Wide streets crossed the city. Theaters, railway stations, parks, and government buildings changed the capital. The Teatro Colón became one of the world's famous opera houses. Cafes became meeting places for writers, musicians, workers, and politicians. People sometimes called Buenos Aires the Paris of South America. But the city was never simply a copy of Europe. It had its own energy, its own voice, and its own way of mixing elegance with everyday street life. Food also tells the story of Argentina. One of the best-known traditions is the asado. An asado is a meal cooked slowly over a fire, but it is more than grilled meat. It is a social event. Family and friends gather together. Someone prepares the fire. Someone cuts bread. Someone makes salad. People talk while the food cooks. Nobody needs to hurry. The person who controls the fire is called the asador. This person watches the heat carefully. Good asado needs patience. The meal may last for several hours. The important thing is not only the food. The important thing is being together. Another strong tradition is mate. Mate is made from the dried leaves of the yerba mate plant. The leaves are placed inside a small cup. Hot water is added. The drink is taken through a metal straw called a bombilla. Mate has a strong, slightly bitter taste. For many Argentines, it is part of everyday life. People drink it at home. They carry it to work. They take it to parks, beaches, universities, and long journeys. One person prepares the mate and passes it to another person. The same cup often moves around the group. This act of sharing is important. Mate creates a quiet, social circle. People sit, drink, talk, and listen. A simple cup becomes a sign of friendship. Argentina is also famous for its natural wonders. In the northeast, near the border with Brazil, there is a great system of waterfalls called Iguazu Falls. Hundreds of separate falls move through the green forest. The water crashes over dark rock. Mist rises high into the air. Bright birds and butterflies live nearby. The largest section is called the Devil's Throat. There, an enormous amount of water falls with a deep, powerful sound. Visitors often hear Iguazu before they see it. The sound becomes louder as they walk through the forest. Then the trees open, and the great wall of water appears. It is one of the most unforgettable sights in South America. In the west, the Andes Mountains form Argentina's natural border with Chile. The Andes are among the greatest mountains on Earth. They stretch for thousands of kilometers along South America. In Argentina, they include Aconcagua. Aconcagua is the highest mountain outside Asia. Its top rises almost 7,000 meters above sea level. Climbers come from around the world to try to reach the summit. But the mountain is dangerous. The air becomes very thin. The weather can change quickly. Strong winds and extreme cold make the climb difficult. Even experienced climbers must prepare carefully. From a distance, Aconcagua looks calm and silent, but it reminds every visitor of the great power of nature. Near the Andes lies the province of Mendoza. This region is dry, but water from mountain snow helps green plants grow. Channels carry water through the city and into fields. Large vineyards spread across the land. Mendoza has become famous for wine, especially Malbec. The grape first came from France, but it found a special home in Argentina. The sunny days, cool nights, high land, and dry air helped create a strong, rich flavor. Today, Argentine Malbec is known around the world. Farther south, the land changes again. This is Patagonia. Patagonia is a huge region shared by Argentina and Chile. It has dry plains, blue lakes, snowy mountains, forests, glaciers, and strong winds. The distances are great. A road may continue for hours with very few towns. The sky feels endless. The wind can move across the land without meeting a building or tree. In some places, guanacos walk across the open ground. They are wild relatives of llamas. Condors fly above the mountains. Along the coast, sea lions, whales, penguins, and many seabirds can be seen. One of Patagonia's greatest sights is the Perito Moreno Glacier. It is a giant river of ice. Its front rises above a cold blue lake. The glacier moves very slowly. Sometimes, large pieces of ice break away and fall into the water. First, visitors hear a deep crack. Then the ice falls. A great sound travels across the lake. The glacier is beautiful, but it also shows that ice is not still. It moves, it changes, and it slowly shapes the land. At the southern end of Argentina lies Tierra del Fuego. The name means land of fire. Early European sailors saw fires along the coast. The local people had made them for warmth. The sailors used these fires to name the region. Today, the city of Ushuaia stands between mountains and the sea. It is one of the southernmost cities in the world. Many people call it the city at the end of the world. Ships leave from Ushuaia for journeys toward Antarctica. The city is surrounded by cold water, forests, snow, and mountains. In summer, the days are long. In winter, darkness comes early. It is a place where the map seems to end, but the land continues into the wind and sea. There is another subject that is impossible to separate from Argentina: football. Football arrived with British workers in the 19th century. Soon, Argentine teams began to form. The sport spread through schools, clubs, factories, and neighborhoods. For many people, a football club became like a second family. Children played in streets. They used simple balls. They made goals from stones, bags, or pieces of wood. Argentina later produced some of the greatest football players in history. One of them was Diego Maradona. He grew up in a poor neighborhood near Buenos Aires. As a child, he had extraordinary control of the ball. He became the captain of Argentina's national team, and in 1986, he helped Argentina win the World Cup. Many years later, Lionel Messi became another global star. He left Argentina when he was young and built his career in Spain, but he continued playing for his national team. In 2022, Argentina won the World Cup again. Across the country, millions of people filled streets and public squares. For Argentines, football is not only a game, it is memory, identity, hope, and shared emotion. Argentina has also given the world important writers, scientists, musicians, doctors, and artists. The writer Jorge Luis Borges created strange and beautiful stories about time, dreams, books, and endless paths. The doctor René Favaloro helped develop an important form of heart surgery. The scientist Luis Federico Leloir won a Nobel Prize for his work in chemistry. Argentine musicians mixed folk traditions with rock, classical music, jazz, and modern sounds. The country has always been full of people who look outward to the world, but who also keep a strong connection to their own culture. Argentina's modern history has not always been easy. The country has faced economic crises, political conflict, and periods when democracy was lost. Families lived through uncertainty. Many people had to begin again after difficult times, but Argentina also showed a strong ability to recover. Democracy returned in 1983. Since then, public memory and human rights have remained important parts of national life. The country continues to face challenges, but its people continue to create, work, debate, celebrate, and hope. So, what is Argentina? It is Buenos Aires at night. When tango music moves through an old street, it is a gaucho riding under the enormous sky of the Pampas. It is a family waiting beside the slow fire of an asado. It is friends passing a cup of mate from hand to hand. It is the roar of Iguazu Falls. It is snow on Aconcagua. It is green vineyards below the Andes. It is a blue glacier breaking into a Patagonian lake. It is a football stadium filled with songs, and it is a cold ship leaving Ushuaia for the open sea. Argentina is a country of distance, but it is also a country of connection. Its people came from many places. Its culture grew from many voices: European, indigenous, African, and Latin American traditions met there. They did not remain separate. They mixed, and from that mixture came something new. Something proud, emotional, creative, and deeply Argentine. Thank you for traveling through Argentina with me today. I hope you enjoyed its history, music, mountains, food, great rivers, open plains, and frozen south. What country, person, city, or true mystery would you like to hear about next? You are doing a wonderful job learning English. Every time you listen to a story, you learn new words, new sounds, and new ways to understand the world. Please like this story, leave a friendly comment, and subscribe for more calm and interesting English stories. Keep listening, keep learning, and be proud of your progress. Until our next journey, take care, stay curious, and have a peaceful day.